Good evening, everybody. It's time for the season finale of One Hop Racing, Season 17. It's time for the final round of the championship here in Japan at the Suzuka circuit. And I'm not alone again, because alongside me is my long-term co-commentator here for this season. It's Minty again. Welcome back.
I'm glad to be here with you, and it's going to be an absolute banger in my opinion. I've been waiting this whole week, and yeah, around this historic track, it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. And before we start going through all the different facts, like the track we're racing today, and the post-race, and even the situation of championship, I think it's time to start with the sponsors first. So the first sponsor we should mention is Next Level Racing. They will provide a wheel stand for the Going Gets Tough Award winner. And the winner of the participants of this award do have to finish outside the top 3, complete all the races and do all the pre-race interviews and so on, and also post-race interviews just in case. So, those participants have to do all these things to be eligible for this contest. And another sponsor we should mention, a recent one, is Time to Print 3D. It will create some key rings for the track we are racing. So for today it's Japan in Suzuka. If you want to have a nice key ring for personal usage, then you can go to their site. You will find a code on this on the Twitter account OneHub, so make sure to check out the Twitter page. And Minty, do you want to mention the other sponsors?
There are 2 other sponsors here in OneHub. It is Vespertine and Liam RBS, who do provide the trophies for our wonderful drivers who were battling it out all season long, and yeah, as I said, they will be giving them the trophies. And also just wanted to mention about the Going Gets Tough award, that the winner will be announced on Sunday 6 PM, where it will be a live stream, and also the champions and things like that will also be announced in that stream.
Yes, and just some little facts as well. The trailer for Season 18 will be launching on Friday the 5th of March, so make sure to check out the trailer on that date. And also, there's a new t-shirt for a new collaboration between One Hop Racing and Jekko Car. So from the 15th of March onwards, you can buy the t-shirt. If you want to have a closer look how the t-shirt looks, you can have a look into the Twitter account of One Hop, so make sure to check out this page. Right then, so now we can have a look into the track we are racing today. It's time for the Suzuka circuit. A circuit which has a lot of tradition here in the Formula 1 calendar. The first F1 race was in 1987. Only the 3rd Grand Prix in Japan after the 2 races in Fuji in 1976 and 1977. Where we all know what happened between Hunt and Lauda in 1976. I think we all know that Lauda retired on his own will just to save his life, and Hunt went on to win the title there. But Suzuka has seen some crazy races. But before we go on with that, let's figure out some facts about the circuit. So the track has a length of 5.807 kilometers. It consists of 18 corners, 8 to the left and 10 to the right. We will see 27 laps of the drivers today, and it's of course the only figure 8 circuit in the calendar so far. The tyres we are seeing today are the C4, the soft, oh no, not the C4, it's the C3 actually. So I've actually seen the wrong graphics. So it's the C3, the C2 and the C1. And of course alongside the red tyres as well. And the previous winners, I think they aren't accurate as well, because they're actually the same as last week, so might be a mistake in the graphics. But Minty, do you have some facts about the races held in the real life F1 seasons?
I mean, the races have been very spectacular. That's why, in my opinion, it should host the season finale. Of course, in 2009 we saw Raikkonen win from the back of the grid after what was a pretty interesting qualifying. That was when they had I think it was called the showdown qualifying or something like that, or basically a reverse grid uh, for uh, for the top guys because of rain. And he went on to win the race, so that was amazing for him, an amazing spectacle for the viewers. Another two races that were pretty spectacular were the 1989 and the 1990 Japanese Grand Prix, where we saw Alan Prost and Ayrton Senna battling it out for the championship, and those two races sparked a lot of controversy. 1989, of course, Prost turned into Senna at the chicane, and that put Prost out of the race. Then Senna, he got pushed by the marshals. He basically cut through the track. He used the escape road, and then he got disqualified for not completing the full race distance. And then in 1990, Senna basically dive bombed, full throttled it into Alan Prost on lap 1, turn 1, and they both crashed.
Yep, and it led to some more controversy. Senna actually admitted that he did it on purpose, so I think for today's fans it would be a clear no and a big scandal, but back then didn't really had a big impact. Senna still won the championship, even though he did it on purpose, so... Well, thanks a lot for these interesting historical facts about this circuit. But now, let's go back to the past again in one hub terms, and let's have a look into the previous race held at Mexico City. Minty, do you want to go through the race results from last week?
I will for sure. White Fountain ended up winning that Grand Prix, which made it 3 race wins for him this season, so some amazing statistics for the Mercedes driver. In second position was Kong Hofner. It was another 7th position, so Kong Hofner must be a little bit gutted because he still didn't pick up his maiden win. Then Aero Specialist, who won on track, finished in 3rd position, grabbing 14 points. Vitinho, the championship leader, finished 4th in that race. TC, with another really strong result for him and the Alfa Romeo crew, he finished in 5th. Cam, after a very unfortunate disconnection on the final lap, saw him go down from P4, if I remember correctly, to P6. Then ERT Jordan finished 7th, Whitesea in 8th, Tribe in 9th, Trunders in 10th, Zipa in 11th, Ali B in 12th, and the fastest lap inside the top 10 went to Aero Specialist, and outside of it, it went to Ali B. Zipa picked up pole position, so it wasn't the best race for him, going all the way down to 11th, and driver of the day at the end went to White Fountain.
Yes, so thank you very much for these results. We can just speak about the post-race conference. So we only had 3 drivers answering the questions, and one of them was Cam. And you've mentioned the disconnect. And he even said if a disconnect counts as a penalty, and I think you will agree that it literally is like a penalty, because he lost a lot of ground in the championship. I think that clearly costed him a shot for today's race for the championship then.
Yeah, it really did. If he didn't get that disconnect, he would have still been in the championship fight, so that's very unfortunate for him. And even the new points system, for example, if we did have it this week, he would be in the chance for the championship, as he's only 24 points behind Vitinho.
Yeah, so now we see drivers starting the session. We've only got 17 people overall in the lobby. We've got 50 people driving today. And let's have a look who's in. So Vitinho's in, Kong Hofner's in, and White Fountain's in. So driver so drivers who are fighting for the championship are all in. Sad to see that not every cockpit is filled, but that's how it is. So, of course, there was also a question in terms of Suzuka, if the drivers are confident around this track, and drivers like Con Hofner said that he actually likes the circuits, so I think this could be quite a bit of an advantage for him going into this race weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. If you like a circuit, you are usually pretty fast at it, and so it's good news for Kong Hofner. And if he can manage to pull it off, I mean, kudos to him. It will be very difficult, especially against the two Mercedes drivers. But there was another question about rain in the pre-race interviews, and nobody apart from one man wanted this rain, and it was Cam, who of course excels in the rain, as we saw in Baku and Vietnam.
Yep, and that's totally understandable that he wants the rain. Just for a final big send-off, I mean, he isn't fighting for the championship anymore. Speaking of championship, Minty, do you want to go through the Drivers' Championship?
Yes, I will. It is Vitinho who is the current championship leader with 125 points on the board for him. In second, it is the Belgian White Fountain with 121 points, which leaves him 4 points behind the leader Vitinho. In third, the last man who is in contention for a title is Kong Hofner. He stands on 115 points, 6 behind White Fountain and 10 behind Vitinho. Cam, who just lost out on the championship fight, is in fourth on 101 points. In fifth and sixth is the Racing Point duo of Rich 500 and SC Mats. In seventh, it is the Red Bull of Traby. He sits on 47 points. In eighth is Jordan on 39 points, and behind him is James Dovey, who has picked up 35 points so far this season. Rounding off the top 10 is Lawrence D on 33 points. Now, 2 points behind him is TC, who is improving every weekend, as we saw, well, in the last few weekends. He is sat on 31 points. Aero Specialist has gotten 29 points so far, which leaves him in 12th. The second Ferrari, driven by Zipa, is in 13th. In 14th is King J with 21 points. Alongside him, with the exact same amount of points, are Whitesea and Dex Dexter. In 18th is Strunders with 13 points on the board. 19th goes to Just Mikey, the Scotsman, scoring 1 point so far. And Sir Quinniff still with a point to his name, so he'll be looking to improve on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a really good scenario here for you guys to enjoy the racing here in the championship. And we'll have a closer look at the top 3 here today. And of course some minor battles in the midfield as well, just as always. But the top 3 will be an even bigger focus here today. Let's go on with Trunders to give you a little look around the circuit. Yeah, I mean, it's literally driver circuits. I mean, here you can really see which driver can excel. So, Minty, just asking about your personal favorites here going into this race weekend. I mean, you've been here for the whole season. Who's your favorite here today?
I mean, I don't really have a favourite going into this one. I'm just really enjoying the racing. Vitinho, if I had to pick a favourite, I think it would be Vitinho. I am known for my commentator skills, so hopefully this doesn't affect him, but Vitinho has been consistent all season round. And, I mean, he's just improving on that form. He got a little bit of a dip in Mexico, but that's just a one-off for the Brazilian. And I'm feeling he can really bounce back, and yeah, he is my favourite going into this race.
Yeah, and I partially agree, but I honestly see White Fountain as one of the favourites here. He has shown that he is quite quick around this circuit, so he will definitely be one to watch, whilst Cam drives the fastest lap of the session so far for 27.3. We also have a look into TAS. We see STMats with the fast second sector. And whilst now Jordan is on pole to 27.0. And then now it's now James Stovey followed by STMats. So this is going pretty quick at the moment.
Yes, it is. Kong Offner invalidated his lap time on his flying lap, so he's going out for a second lap now on the same set of softs. And I mean, he has history with his tyre, whereas we saw last week, it really hindered him at the end of the Grand Prix.
Oh, look at that. There is Rich 500, the man. Yeah, but basically has a little bit of a struggle here at the moment, so far this season. And Rich back at the front, at the moment at least, but White Fountain looks pretty strong. Yep, he is. 2 faster sectors. And look at the second sector from White Fountain. According to TAS, he's 4/10 faster. Look at the lap time for White Fountain. That was a strong one.
Yeah, it really is. 126.2, and I mean, we can see he is really putting in the practice for this one. Vitinho and Kong Offner will be the two who will be trying to beat that lap time. Kong Offner going through the chicane, locks up quite heavily, and will he abort this lap? Does he? Yes, he does. So we won't see him putting in a competitive lap time so far. But now Vitinho, 1/10 slower in the first sector according to TAS 2 White Fountain, and 4/10 slower to White Fountain in sector 2. So these two really have to pick up the pace if they want to catch up to White Fountain.
Yep, absolutely. This is absolutely needed in the championship. At the moment, still P3 for Vitinho. We will go through the permutations for the championship in the race, but it might be a really intense fight for the championship here.
Yeah, it might be. And just wanted to say something about White Fountain's pre-race interviews, which is quite the opposite of what he's doing right now. He said that you have to be smart around the circuit, and that the fastest driver doesn't always win. And I mean, hopefully he's being smart. He is right now the fastest driver on track. So, I mean, going a little bit against his word.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a bit of sandbagging in comparison to the others, so he may be a bit cautious around here during the interviews, which is actually not that bad, because overconfidence can kill you as well, especially during the race.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, yeah, overconfidence. If you're, as he said, if you're too confident going into a Grand Prix, you're gonna get probably a little bit mad if you're not the fastest man on track. So I think he just tried to played it off a little, maybe play some mind games with the other drivers to act as if he was maybe the slower person. But right now, it doesn't really look like it.
Yep. And it also becomes a little mind game with his teammate, actually. It reminds me a bit of Hamilton versus Rosberg here. These two had a little bit of mind games in the past as well. So this might be actually a similar scenario. So whilst Kong Hoffner exited the pit lane again, he is the third player in the title fight. And, well, this could be an interesting player here. I mean, he could actually throw in some interesting things here today, when the Mercedes are having a difficult race.
Yeah, I mean, Kong Hoffner has been really good this season. 5-second places to his name, so even if he doesn't finish second today, you still have half of his races finished in second position, so that's an amazing stat for the Danish driver. And it does seem like he has that win phobia right now, and he's probably hoping to break that right now.
And he even mentioned the post-race interviews that he has the hope that he can win the race and win the title. If it happens, we will see. So he might be a bit dreaming, or at least being a bit more optimistic that it could work, which is of course needed for a driver trying to win the championship here. Whilst Hoffner is now starting his lap. Minty, do you want to do a quick lap guide if you want?
Sure, I will. Now going to turn 1, turn 2, 4th gear, maybe sometimes 3rd. If you're struggling on the unders, you're now into the S section, a very difficult section. You can easily snap the car and oversteer as Kong Hoffner does here. And he was looking very twitchy through there, and now into Dunlop. Into the 2 Degnas now. Going into 7th gear and into 3rd gear here under the bridge. Of course, it's a figure 8 circuit and it's a great track, amazing to watch. Now into the hairpin. You can't really kiss the apex here, as it's very easy to lose traction if you do, and Kong Hoffner did that a little. So, I mean, it's not looking like the best lap time from the Ferrari driver. And now into the spoon curve, very easy, trying not to invalidate, which he does. So I think I just gave him the commentator's curse throughout the whole lap. Everything I said not to do, he did.
Well, the all-time famous commentator's curse. Also wanted to mention now the 130R, a famous corner, and of course the chicane where Sam and Prost had their little incident in '89. Went a bit fast in the pit entry. Sorry for that. Let's have a look at Aero Specialist here. The man who has surprised a bit during the last race in Mexico. He literally tried to do last to first. It didn't really work out due to penalties. Maybe he can do this now. His first sector looked good. The second sector is a bit of an issue for him, but it is for everybody, it seems. I mean, White Fountain really was strong during sector 2. So it's tough to beat, but Aero Specialist is still in P2. Not too bad at all.
Yeah, very good from the AlphaTaurian. I mean, if he keeps that same position, he could be a real big turn in the back for Vitinho, Kong Hoffner, and potentially even White Fountain if he gets ahead of him on into turn 1. But now White Fountain is on a lap, and he is improving in sector 2. He looks unbeatable there. A 38.6 in that sector, 1/10 faster than previous, and now coming up to the line, what will it be? 1 minute 26.2, barely faster than his previous lap time, but it's still faster. And yeah, he is retaining that pole position. It does seem like it.
Yep, at the moment it looks tough to beat him. I mean, look at the second sector. He really finds a lot of time here, which will be tough for his rivals. Let's go back to Vitinho. Vitinho has returned to the 38s in the second sector. Look at Vitinho now. He's making it a Mercedes 1-2 with a 26.343. So Vitinho, yeah, this is actually now getting interesting now. And, well, Minty, just like real life then. Mercedes 1-2.
Yeah, the Silver Arrows are doing an absolutely amazing job, and as in real life, the Ferrari is not doing the best. I mean, there's only one Ferrari here tonight, Kong Hoffner. Well, I think he is the man who White Fountain was on about maybe not being as smart. Kong Hoffner, 2 laps, 2 flying laps under his belt, and both of them have been invalidated, so I think he's trying to push it maybe a little bit too far on those flying laps and has to settle down a little.
Yep, could be. Whilst Ali B already retired. He had an accident in the S's. Oh, I think that's corner 4. That's quite an easy spot to lose the rear end. So not a good qualifying for the only Red Bull driver here. And I think they were all also mentioned in the team's press conferences. I just have to look into my notes. Where is it? There it is. And they were asked how the drivers performed this season, and they admitted they didn't perform the best. And whilst they said Tribe should get 5th, he isn't in. So well, not a good final race at the moment for Red Bull. But I mean, everything can change in a race, but it is looking good so far.
Yeah, I mean, it is looking good so far, and Konghoffner out on another outlap, so he might get one or potentially even 2 laps in on these soft tyres, depending if he wants to come in or not. So this flying lap will be very important for him, as it's going to be one of his final times where he can actually set a lap time, as he is the only driver not to set one so far.
Yep, so even more added pressure there for Konghoffner. I mean, he needs to set a lap time, otherwise he needs to do it last to first to win the championship
I
in the
mean,
most ideal case.
does, if he does do Kimi Räikkönen, then fair play to him.
Could be. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's quite hard around this track. Because it's actually a bit narrow in some parts. But now he's starting his flying lap.
So let's see how Konghoffner does now. On the pitch straight, going into turn 1 and turn 2. I mean, it's a very difficult story. He said he likes it, and he's not really reflecting at the moment.
Yep, so either he just has some issues at the moment, or he really isn't that quick around the circuit. We will find out in this lap, with some added pressure now that he's the only one without a lap, except for LEB, who has retired. First sector, how it will be, let's have a look. 31.4, which isn't the fastest, but only a tenth of White Fountain at the moment. Going into sector 2. It seems like it's the crucial sector, so he needs to perform here. Whilst the rest of the drivers now are exiting the pits, like Vitinho, Specialist, Rich, Mats, everyone now.
Yeah, everyone's going for the lap, and they know how important it is, especially at a circuit like Suzuka, where overtaking can be difficult, as proven in the past. And now coming up to Sector 2 split, what will it be for Konghoffner? 39.04 tenths lower than White Fang, so it's not looking good for Konghoffner, as a big lock-up going into the chicane, nearly exceeding track limits. And what will it be coming up to the line, taking the shortest route possible? It's only 5th position, 5 tenths behind the Mercedes driver, and he will avert this lap, and that's qualifying over for him.
He just needs to pray that everything will go right for him, and that the others might have some bad luck during their laps to stay in 5th place. Let's go on board with Rich 500. He's the first one to start the flying lap from the final pack of cars leaving the pits. So let's see how these drivers are doing. I mean, they could really hinder Konghoffner here in his pursuit. So yeah, this could be an interesting factor now. And Rich 500, I have to admit, not the best first sector at the moment, and really isn't. Was it? It actually is. It's still 31.1, but not quicker than Aero Specialist.
As yellow flags, that's for Aero Specialist, who's off the track, and the maximum he'll get tonight is 3rd position, and thankfully he didn't get in the way of any of the drivers. So, yeah, that's qualifying over for the AlphaTauri.
Yep. And now, that's a bit unfortunate here, and unfortunate end for the driver. Let's go back to Rich 500 now. He is on his final meters of his lap. I think he is really improving at the moment. He still has a faster second sector, but not by much. Only by 3 thousandths of a second. And he comes up through the final corner. It's P4. Who's the next one?
An improvement, but not by much. And then there's, I think, an Alfa Romeo. Yes, XXer now coming through the chicane. What will it be for him? They're taking a tight line. It's only 13th position.
So let's look at Dovey. He will turn into the pits. Let's go to the Mercedes. It's Vitinho now. He is improving. Or will he? No. No, it isn't enough. What about the others? We don't see many faster sectors. So, I think no one is really improving. Jordan stays at P8. What about White Fountain? Can he actually improve? We will see. He is improving a tiny bit according to the game. Let's go to the final corner. He isn't. He isn't improving. What about Cam? He's the final one left. But it won't be enough for pole position. No, it isn't. It's a 26-7, which will promote him to P6. So, yeah, Kong Hofner has actually stayed P5, and it's a Mercedes 1-2. So, following the Mercedes are Aero Specialist EP3 ahead of Rich 500, Kong Hofner P5 ahead of Cam P6, MC Ashley Madsen P7 ahead of James Stovey P8. Jordan and Thomas are actually rounding up the grid. Is it actually TC? Just asking. Maybe you know better.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so sorry for the confusion there. So Quinniff, P11. Good qualifying there by the Haas. White Seed 12 out of Dexter, Trunders, and Ali B, who rounds up the grid.
Yeah, it's looking amazing. Kong Hofner, not the best qualifying for him, and bit of a lackluster finish to qualifying, if I'm being honest. Nobody really improving in the tyre stages. And yeah, that's what leaves White Fountain on pole position for tonight's race, and I have a feeling pole position will be very important around here.
Yep, and look at the clouds here. So this is a bit dark. It's a very, very dark here, so could we potentially see some rain?
Yeah, there might be. I mean, it would be a blessing in disguise for one Renault driver by the name of Cam, and probably not a blessing in disguise for everyone else.
Yep. And whilst we're now waiting for the drivers to start, I'll just go through some of the permutations. I've just lost the picture there. Oh, there it is. Alright, so Coutinho can win the championship quite easily if he wins. And if he finishes in second place. If he finishes in third, however, then White Fountain must win. And I think then White Fountain will still win the championship because Fountain has actually won 4 races according to one win by Coutinho. So this is oh, actually, if Coutinho finishes in second, White Fountain needs to win with the fastest lap to tie. Sorry for that confusion. And so I just did a big mess there. So if Coutinho wins, he wins the championship. If he finishes in second, then White Fountain needs to win with the fastest lap. And they would tie. And that would mean White Fountain would win the championship. And the rest will be a bit more detailed. So it will go. I will just mention them when it's about time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very exciting. As you mentioned before, dark clouds up in the sky. As commentators, sadly we do not know what the weather forecast is. Surely real commentators do, at least in real life F1. So yeah, the drivers are the only ones who know what the weather will be like. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Coutinho, White Fountain, with Kong Hofner down in 5th. He has to get past 2 drivers well, as quickly as possible. And yeah,
this is going to be pretty exciting, guys. So grab something up to eat or something to drink and just enjoy nearly an hour of racing here. And you will find out who will be the Podium Team champion, the successor of Pizza Parker from last season. It won't be a Racing Point, but will be a Mercedes. So yeah, let's find out. It could be even Ferrari. Sorry for confusion there again. So it will either be a Mercedes or a Ferrari, just like in 2018, 2017, or as some would mention, the good old days where Ferrari was actually competitive. So this could be a pretty exciting finale. So stay there, enjoy the race, and we just wait for drivers to line up on the grid.
Yeah, so maybe any last minute predictions for you?
It will be hopefully a fun race to watch. I won't tell you more. I just don't want to jinx a driver. Just wait for perfect perspective now. I also want to mention pretty quick the tire situation. 4 drivers outside the top 10 will run medium tires at the start, except for Dexter. So now we're waiting for the start light. There's already a yellow flag. For some reason, there are the lights. And when the lights are off, the finale is underway. And let's see who has the best start. It looks like Fountain. Vitinha already drops back behind Fountain. Especially got a decent start. There's already a front wing flying. And we'll find out in a short moment who it is. Half the fight with which 500 can he make the move. Alright, there's section. No, he can't. He even drops behind Cam. Oh no, not a good start from Kong Hoffner, who dropped down to P6. And otherwise it has been pretty clean at the moment, it looks like, except for the front wing, which is flying around.
Yeah, it was the front wing of Ali B, so he is going to be hindered as there's contact between the two Hasties. Jordan nearly going around after Sir Quinniff tapping him at the back. So, I mean, very tight circuit here around Suzuka, and we see the consequences of that now. McLaren and an Alfa Romeo going side by side through 200R and going into this Poon curve, but I think Dexter has to move on. Yes, he does.
Yep, and that's P30 for Dexter. Let's move back to the front, where Fountain is in the lead, ahead of his teammate Vitinho and Specialist in P3. And then we see Rich 500, who has defended his 4th place. Was
and Cam now.
Oh, he's attacking there on the inside line, so the cut in there. But Cam tried to attack on the inside line, but it didn't work out. So now we have the timing glitch again, so we have to wait for a short moment to get the right packing order.
And that was a very audacious move from Cam. Rich really closed the door on him, didn't give him much space, which is very unfortunate for Cam. I have a feeling Rich needed a little bit more respect for the American. And now Tronders retires from the session exactly where James Dovey lost it, if I'm not mistaken, and there's a VSC.
That was actually Ali B in qualifying.
Ali B.
Yeah, that's a VSC already. Well, not really the ideal situation for drivers who have pitted now. I mean, they've done their first stop, fair enough, but they still lost a lot of time now, so... Well... Not really ideal, I guess. And it's back again to re-racing now.
And the DRS is now available, but Vitinho's getting closer and closer to his teammate White Fountain. I mean, I don't think he's going to get him through 130R. He's a little bit too far away. And he does have the slipstream, but I think White Fountain is running a little bit less wings than the Brazilian driver. And now Vitinho really late on the brakes, and I think he broke himself a little, and he won't be able to get past White Fountain. But right behind him is Aero Specialist, and he might try to make a move on the championship leader, but it's too far away from him, and he stays back in 3rd.
Yep, and well, this is looking good so far, but at the moment the drivers have just sorted their positions. It's a close racing here at the moment. It's nice to watch some drivers going following each other in the dirty air. Not the most ideal situation, so we're waiting for some attacks from the drivers to escape the dirty air.
Yeah, I mean, as you said in the permutations, Vitinho right now not really having to do anything. He's winning the championship if things stay like this. So I don't think he'll be risking it all to try to get a move on White Fountain, as White Fountain is just pulling away from him right now. gap is nearly 1 second, and I have a feeling Dirty Air might be a little bit helping White Fountain.
I have to correct you in this one. As mentioned just before the race start, Vitinho has to win, because if he finishes in second, White Fountain has to win and has to take the fast lap. At the moment he did it, and they're now tied on points, which will mean that Fountain is actually winning the championship, because, I mean, he has 4 wins in comparison to Vitinho.
Yeah, I completely forgot that White Fountain got that fastest lap so far. 1 minute 30.4 Vitinho, 1 minute 30.7, so I'll be trying to on that down. And yeah, I mean, he might go for a fastest lap approach, he might go for the overtake, but Vitinho is just getting further and further away from his teammate.
Yep, at least the moment looks like it. Whilst the other champion rival, Kong Hofner, is stuck behind Cam Kamen, the man who's had a lot of bad luck in Mexico, but he's still trying to race normally, and at the moment he is ahead of the championship rival Kong Hofner. So not a good way at the moment to start the championship fight for the Ferrari, but will it be possible to pass them? At the moment it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't. Cam is actually fighting for this position. He wants that 3rd position in the standings, and right now he's doing a good job keeping Kong Hofner behind. But nobody can really overtake Kong Hofner right now, as SC Mats, he's 2 seconds away from him. So nobody really there to challenge for that position.
Yep, and the guys behind SC Mats are also too far behind, like Jordan, Whitesea. There might be a battle between Whitesea and Quinniff, however. These two are actually quite close to each other. Oh, that was close there between Whitesea and Jordan.
But now Aero Specialist goes down the inside of Vitinho into turn 1 and 2, and that Specialist into 2nd position. Sorry for calling you in there. And Vitinho's down to 3rd.
Oh, this is getting a lot more spicy with Specialist in the way. This is really looking good for White Fountain at the moment. There's a yellow flag at the back for whatever reason, because no one spun. Just made a mistake. Made a mistake. Jordan was actually entered the pits. It was Quinniff who nearly hit Whitesea there. But yeah, going back to the front with Specialist now P2. Yep, it gets even harder for White Fountain. But now Fountain just needs to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's as easy as that for White Fountain, but I mean, the nerves must be getting to him. He has to keep this momentum up. He can't make a mistake right now. And he knows that if a safety car is brought out, that lead is already down to a T. So, I mean, the pressure is on White Fountain and on every single driver who is in the championship fight. So they are doing their utmost right now.
Yep, and looking at the tyre degradation, it is really looking good for soft runners. Whilst we see Rich 500 coming into the pits, and Kong Hofner gets a 5-second penalty for speeding the pit lane. So it looks like it's all over for Kong Hofner.
Yeah, no, that 5-second time penalty will be served on the next pit stop. And I mean, unless he gets really lucky with a safety car, I think Kong Hofner is out of this battle, and now it's between the Silver Arrows to battle it out. Of course, with an AlphaTauri in between them. But yeah, the focus is really on them two right now.
Yep, it actually is. And now Kong Hofner has a massive task to just try and push as hard as he can to make at least something work. I mean, he needs to hope for a miracle at the moment, and at the moment it's not really happening. But he made an undercut, so maybe this helps a little bit. Save goes for Rich 500. So maybe it helps with these two, because they've got now fresher tyres, and because of the soft tyres actually being a little bit more worn than the mediums, of course. also interesting to see that White Fountain soft tires are actually still in a decent level, unlike Vitinho. And now White Fountain comes into the pits. Same for Specialist, which leaves Vitinho with the overcut. Oh, that's not really helping Vitinho's case.
Well, I mean, Vitinho probably doing a smart thing not putting in, as he was only 3 seconds behind White Fountain. So, I mean, White Fountain could have easily done, let's say, Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso in the pits, or vice versa.
Oh,
And
just hope for a move there so they can there. But I totally agree with you. This is now a crucial lap for Vitinho. I mean, double stacking is really helping, and now it's getting crucial for the Mercedes. Now he needs to at least push as hard as he can with the worn tire set, and then he just needs to hope for a miracle then.
I mean, basically all drivers are hoping for a miracle right now. And yeah, Vitinho, I think he'll be pitting in this lap. 6 lap out soft, 55% on his front left. So he's just praying right now he won't get undercut by White Fountain. And White Fountain is in clear air, so he has all the pace in the world right now.
Yep, so looks pretty good for White Fountain, was Vitinho's coming in. Same for Cam. So these two, nearly too fast for Cam. Was also Estimat is coming in, but no blockage for the Mercedes. But I think therefore some blocking for Cam. Yep. And now we see White in the lead ahead of Sir Quinniff. There comes White Fountain, however, and he literally storms ahead of Vitinho. And Vitinho even gets passed by Witch 500. Oh no, this is getting a bit really disastrous for the Brazilian. Oh no, that's not a good thing for him to drop behind the racing points. And he's now inside of Kong Hofner even. So everything is going wrong here for the Brazil at the moment. And it is really looking good.
Yeah, I mean, Vitinho, he just got, unlucky with his pit stops. White Fountain pit in, probably when he wanted to pit in, and Rich 500 went for the undercuts. So did Kong Hofner, and it worked out for them too. Kong Hofner now within striking distance of the Brazilian. And yeah, Vitinho he had to go for an overcut, and it really didn't work out for him.
Yep, and now it's getting pretty tense there in the leading positions. Also looking in the midfield for some battles. Maybe between Estimats and Jordan. Or maybe in the fight for P5 even. We should find out.
I mean, we should do, and I mean, up at the front, it's not looking very close. Estimats, he is within 5 tenths of Jordan. I don't think it's going to be close enough, or will it? Yes, it is. I mean, DRS doing an absolute wonderful job for Estimat, and that's him into 9th position ahead of Jordan. So that's going to be another point for Estimat, which could see him get ahead of his teammate Rich 500.
Yep. Some good battles here in the championship between these drivers. It isn't really something special for them, but they're just driving, maybe beating their teammates. And maybe for them it's a good feeling, you know. And Estimats, he had let's say a bit disappointing season after Bahrain, so would be a bit nice to finish the season strongly. Same goes to Rich after his big disappointing run. It looks good at the moment at least. While Specialist also got a penalty now again. It makes it a bit more dramatic for the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, we know the AlphaTauri really being penalty king, just seems to be getting them all the time. He has to really be cautious with them in the future, as it really doesn't help him, especially if he wants to fight for the title in the future.
Yup, totally agree. Whilst Fountain is now setting the fast lap of the race, but he is in traffic at the moment behind Sir Quinniff, the Haas driver, still without a point at the moment. And now he is right ahead of White Fountain. I mean, he still needs to pit twice, Sir Quinniff. But look at Fountain, he's struggling to get past, which could help the drivers behind him, at least for a little while, until he made a move. So this is pretty good for a specialist, for example, but not good for White Fountain.
Yeah, I mean, it's very good for all these drivers apart from White Fountain. He's looking to get past Sir Quinniff, but you just can't do it anywhere. It's like, it's, as I said, it's a difficult track to overtake on. So White Fountain, he'll have to do it at 130R at the earliest, in my opinion, if not even trying to get the DRS on him. So White Fountain at a big disadvantage right now, trying to get past Sir Quinniff, and now going through 130R.
Oh,
I think he can make the job. They're going still side by side. Some great racing between the two of them. And White Fountain is into second position. And Vitinho now behind them. He is catching up to the racing point of Rich 500. And, I mean, we could see a move on Rich 500 soon. Now, through the pit straight. I think he'll do it into turn 1. Overtake mode engaged, DRS wide open, and yes, that's him into 5th position.
So some crucial moves here for the Mercedes drivers, but what a move for White Fountain against Sir Quinniff in 130R, like Fernando Alonso did against Michael Schumacher in 2005, but also with Tino for move against Rich 500 in turn 1. So Vitinho is on a charge, whilst now Specialist is stuck behind the Haas driver. And now he is losing a lot of time. So this is actually helping now Vitinho there a lot. Look at that.
Yeah, he's helping everybody. Kong Offner, Rich 500, they're all within 1 second of each other now. So Aero Specialist, he'll be trying to get past the Haas driver as soon as possible. Sir Quinniff really looking shaky on these medium tyres. Aero Specialist having to break through some of these corners. And now Vitinho, he's going to try to go for a move on AlphaTauri, but Aero Specialist now down the inside of Sir Quinniff. Will Sir Quinniff get overtaken at 130R again? I think he will. Yes, he does. Lovely overtake. And now Vitinho trying to go around the outside. Sir Quinniff blocks that off. And Vitinho will have DRS on the Haas driver. The Haas driver pits in. So now it's going to be Aero Specialist versus Vitinho versus Rich 500 versus Kong Hoffner.
Wow, this is fantastic stuff here presented by One Hub. What a crazy fight we have now, all caused by Sir Quinniff, who was yet to pit for the soft tyre, and now he's in, dropping down to P13 it looks like, or even P14, we will find out. And, well, this has certainly helped some drivers to come closer towards the others. And we should find out how it affects the race.
Yeah, I mean, there's still more than half of the Grand Prix to go, so it's all to play for. And right now, I just wanted to say, we're getting spoiled with these moves at 130R. Absolutely marvellous seeing these cars go side by side through such a tight corner.
Yeah, I mean, those drivers have big balls here. I tell you, they have really great balls. To go through 130R and trying to move ahead of the driver ahead of them, so that's pretty insane stuff. I mean, in real life you don't see this that often, and here you see it 2 times in a row. So that's
on
pretty
the
insane.
same driver.
Yeah, and Whitesea is in as well, the Williams driver. So that means White Fountain is back in the lead.
White Fountain back in the lead. Aero Specialist in second and Vitinho in third. So we basically see the same pecking order as we saw at the end of lap 1, which, I mean, isn't always the most interesting. No, not lap 1, but before the pit stop phase. And yeah, Vitinho, he got past Rich 500 and now he's trying to hunt down Aero Specialist. It's not looking likely right now, especially with Specialist's pace.
Yep, but even if he made a move against Specialist, there's still White Fountain. And I just have a look if he's still got a fast lap. Yes, he does. So at the moment, it's not really helping him at the moment that White Fountain is so quick.
Yeah, I mean, White Fountain, he has the pace. He's being very, intelligent with his driving. Still without a penalty for him, which can't be said for Kong Hoffner. With that speeding in the pit lane, which was very unfortunate for the Ferrari, and yeah, I think that could have just ruined his championship hopes.
Yep, I mean, if you look at his position, it really isn't helping him that he is only in P5. I mean, he has a bit of a gap towards Vitinho in the championship anyway, so he needs to hope for a little bit of a miracle here, but it just isn't coming at the moment, and it isn't helping him, so it looks unlikely for Kong.
Yeah, it's a shame really, as he was, very happy to go into this weekend. He loves the track. He's pretty good at it, but that 5-10 penalty just ruined his race completely.
Yep, alongside some other drivers who are looking to be a bit better, like White Fountain especially. He is on fire. There's a yellow flag sector 1. It's Whitesea who has spun. So the Williams also with no fortune. The only Williams here today. And he's now on attack from Thomas and Sir Gwyneth. Look at Whitesea. Oh dear. He really is finding his rhythm back. So that's not really helping him at all. But look at Vitinho. He's coming close towards Specialist.
Yeah, he's ready to pounce when he gets the chance, and he just needs to get a good exit here, which he can't seem to get there, especially just a lot sooner on the throttle, and Vitinho just can't make the move on him.
Yep, it is really helping him. It also destroys his tires, of course, because of dirty air and all that sort of stuff. Even though Specialist still has the more worn tires due to the one more lap, and but now it's getting really important. I mean, he just needs to think about the strategy now. Will he do an undercut against Specialist and against White Fountain? I mean, he literally has to. It's his only chance to pass the AlphaTauri and to have a chance of at least getting the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, if Vitinho had a big gap, maybe if this was an 100% race, we could have seen him put on a cheeky pair of softs at the end of the Grand Prix and try to go for the fastest lap. But with these gaps of less than 1 second throughout a lot of the field, I mean, 5 seconds, 7 seconds at the most. For the drivers being away from each other, it's really close to grid.
Yep, absolutely. That is why we love this tier. I love close racing, and it also shows here. And now I see Specialist pulling away from Vitinho here. So Specialist seems to have found his mojo again. He has called up the White Fountain for a little bit. So yeah, now it's getting very interesting now. Just have to say it.
Vitinho, he really has to step out of his game. I have a feeling if he just bangs one lap in, you could get past the Aero Specialist and get in the clear air, because that's really all he needs. We know he has the pace, this man, and he could potentially set the fastest lap if the circumstances are right.
Yep. So, well, at the moment it lacks a bit of battling, so we just turn our focus to the back of the grid. We see Quinn is still behind Thomas in P13. They are actually quite close towards each other. So just have a look into this battle. Means you can have a look at the front at the moment, if you'd like.
Yes, I am. You know, I mean, he is catching up to Aero Specialist after Aero Specialist's mistakes, but he can't really make advantage of that.
Well, that's not really good. Look at between the gaps. He's catching up. Again, has to be said.
Yeah, and I think he'll just not go on the throttle early, and you can see him, Aero Specialist, he's just pulling away from him on the exit of that corner, and that's really his strong point.
But to be honest, it actually helps a bit to pull away from Rich 500, if I'm honest. So it is really the worst thing ever in terms of track position. I mean, he still gets DRS, which is helping him a lot, especially doing the straights. So I will just pull back to Vitinha because now Quinniff is losing some time. So this is looking quite good for Wolverhampton still, but it ain't over. It isn't over because we've still got approximately 10 laps to go, and everything can happen. And there's a yellow flag in sector 1. I think that was Quinniff.
Yes, it was. I think he have spun through one of the S's, so that's unfortunate for the Haas driver. And I mean, he only needs one retiree ahead of him, and that would bring up to his points, and finally a point for him.
Yeah, I mean, he has a long run of no points, but well, we will see if he can score his first point today or maybe next season when he will participate. Look at Specialist, he's coming in, so he is doing the undercut now, and Vitinho is still staying out.
Now I have a feeling Vitinho shot himself in the foot right now. Aero Specialist, White Fountain, he will see the Aero Specialist came into the pits, and he'll try to cover up the undercut by coming in potentially a little bit early, which will leave Vitinho out again for an overcut unless he decides to double stack. And we know how iffy double stacking is on this game. Even if you're not close to driver to your teammate, you can still get caught up by a second or two.
Yep, and just have a look through the drivers who have pitted. They look like they have clean air ahead. So Specialist will have a huge advantage. Same for Witch 500. But maybe not Kong Hoffner. He's behind Thomas, but he's got these soft tires. So maybe, just maybe he could steal a fast lap. It's just a theory, of course. So maybe those things can happen.
It definitely can. There is no doubt about that, but it'll be pretty difficult, as White Fountain has just been on the pace this whole time, in leading every single lap when everyone came into the pits, and now White Fountain's into the pits. What will Vitinho do? He stays out, and that might be his championship in the mud.
Yep, whilst Fountain is now switching to soft tires, no blocking the pits. That's an easy pit stop, and that should help him winning the, at least building the grounds for his championship today. But it isn't fully confirmed yet. Whilst Fountain comes out of the pits, he is still a Specialist, and he dropped behind Jordan for now, but he still hasn't got much traffic. Whilst I'm afraid that I believe that Vitinho will lose way too much time. I believe.
Yeah, he might too, unless he absolutely goes full guns blazing on this lap, trying to set a really good first and second sector for him. Going to the pits, he might cover that undercut, but it'll be pretty difficult for him.
Yep, this will be a big task. Whilst, which driver should we go on board with? I'll just go with James Dovey. He's behind Sir Quinniff now. Well, I mean, Dovi will need to make a move now. And he's doing that before the hairpin. Okay, do it now. No, he can't. He's still on the outside. However, look at that brilliant move by James Dovi. Good move there by the AlphaTauri. And that was definitely a nice move. Whilst now Vitinho's in the pits. Now it's really important. We see Matt still staying out. But where does Vitinho end up?
Not too sure, but I find out the R's wide open, so he'll be definitely ahead of Vitinho. Aero Specialist steals that fastest lap. Rich 500 does now, 1 minute 29.5, and Vitinho is just ahead of Rich. And good news for him, Aero Specialist now with 6 seconds worth of time penalties. So if I'm not mistaken, right now, Vitinho is in the lead of the championship if SC Mats pits in.
Yup, if it stays like that, Fountain hasn't got a fast lap. So now Vitinho's job is just to cover up the fast lap for a White Fountain, if you can set one, of course. I mean, he has got the fresh soft rubber, so for Fountain, it's going to be looking easy. But look at LEB, he's driven a 29.3, so that's the overall fast lap, but he's still outside the top 10. So if he somehow finds a way inside the top 10 now, that's the championship then. Sealed. Even through now the fast laps might be coming in, of course. But yeah, now we go on board with White Fountain. We'll still have a look into the times. I'll just go and have a look into the timing screen. Okay, it does really help me a lot.
I mean, one thing to notice is that White Fountain is using Rich Mix. He is using overtake mode a lot on this lap. It's a 1 minute 28.1, absolute blistering lap from White Fountain. And if I'm not mistaken, he actually slowed down. You maybe thought he was in qualifying for a second on the pit straight. So that's the fastest lap for him right now. And Vitinho will really have to push it if he wants to grab that championship.
Yep, those are crucial laps now for Vitinho. He just needs to somehow find a way to steal a fast lap, or even someone else. It doesn't even really have to be Vitinho. It could be someone else. So, guys, those laps are now the most crucial laps from these drivers' careers in one hub, I believe. And yeah, now just have a look into the second Mercedes. Only for this lap now. I mean, he's of course catching up to Aero Specialist. With the tyre advantage, it shouldn't be a big problem at all.
Vitinho, he went 2 tenths faster. He went 2 tenths slower, sorry, than White Fountain in Sector 1. And I want to see how he does Sector 2. Because it's going to be very important for him to snatch that fastest lap, or anyone. For that matter, but he probably wants it to be him. And now he'll be going up to the line. He's taking a tight turn through there, and he goes 2 tenths faster, but it's not enough.
It's not enough. Only a 20.2.
That's 1 tenth slower than White Fountain, but Vitinho, he is very lucky that he overfueled the car quite a lot. I mean, White Fountain, he is right now saving his fuel, while Vitinho, he still has 1 lap of fuel remaining on board. Plus 1 lap. So he could really push it.
Yep, he could just send it now, and those are close margins here in terms of fast lap. I mean, it's not always the case that the fast lap seals the championship. It only really happened in real life in Formula E in 2015, 2016, where literally the fast lap decided the championship towards Sebastian Bremi. So we could see this happening as well today. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. We don't see that often, as you said. Now, Vitinho, he's getting closer to Aero Specialist. Will he go for the move down the inside? No, he doesn't. He stays back for now. Aero Specialist with the lock-up, and now SC Mats into the pits. This elevates White Fountain up into first. Aero Specialist into second and Vitinho into third. And now Vitinho, he will go for the move on the AlphaTauri. Very simple move for him. And I think that's going to be him up into second position. Yes, it is. So now Aero Specialist can either fight back or he can just stay back for that third position. He knows Vitinho will be feisty tonight with 4 laps remaining. The championship is still not over, but it's a safety car.
Oh, that's a safety car because Ali B is retired. Oh, look at that. Now it makes things a lot more interesting.
Absolute scenes here. Ali B crashing at the exit of the last turn, a bit like Robert Kubica in 2019, or else Roman Grosjean, or no, Kevin Magnussen, sorry about that. They basically did the same thing as Ali B did now, but that was in qualifying. This brings out the safety car. Vitinho will catch up to White Fountain, and it will be a level pegging, but, well, it won't be because Vitinho does have newer tyres.
In theory, yes, but do you want to know who is really unlucky? I think that's ST Mats, because he came in the pits the lap before, and now we have the safety car.
Now, I don't think he'll be really kicking himself, maybe a little bit, but if he was in the championship fight, that would have been absolutely gutting for him. But now, he could well steal the fastest lap if Vitinho isn't able to get past White Fountain.
And
Aero
Specialist coming to pits.
Rich 500 stays out, that elevates Rich into third, and Aero Specialist, he is a very quick driver. He could be the man to steal the fastest lap
out. He's lost in the pit entry.
Oh, disaster for him, and that's him officially done with the championship. And Cam could even take his position. And what happened there?
He wanted to enter the pits and somehow went a bit too fast and hit the little wall with the weird tire, and that's it.
Or was that at the pit entry?
Yep, pit entry.
Ooh, I'd have to watch that back on stream, because I'm gonna do that right now. I really want to see, this is some action replay stuff here.
Oh dear, that's been unlucky. An unlucky way to end the season. But you know what? Sir Gwyneth will actually get a point.
That is very true, unless he retires, which I hope he doesn't. I mean, he deserves that. Every driver deserves a point here in Podium tier. They're all doing an amazing job. And now the safety car. I mean, 3 laps remaining. This will, spark something, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now we get the field back together. It's going to be an entertaining finale for sure. And I hope it will get pretty insane in the next couple of minutes.
And thankfully rain didn't come down, because we see how difficult it is to overtake normally, but I mean, with the rain it would have been even more chaotic and even more difficult.
Yep, because of the traction, of course. So it looks like we'll have 2 laps of racing then, if the safety car hopefully comes in after this lap.
Yes, now I'm trying to look back at the Kong Hofner incident. I mean, it's a quite peculiar one, that what happened to him, and yeah, all eyes are on the 2 Mercedes. I mean, if you haven't already, grab some popcorn, grab a soft or fizzy drink, and enjoy the race. It's going to be absolutely outstanding the last 2 laps when the safety car comes in.
I certainly hope so. And well, White Fountain is leading. Vitinho in second. I will repeat this one last time. If it stays like this, White Fountain will be the champion by just with it, by only his winning count. It doesn't matter that he is equal points with Vitinho, it only matters that White Fountain has got more wins. But there's always the possibility that the fastest lap might be gone, or Vitinho might even pass his teammates. And we just have to be really careful with those guys around.
Yeah, and White Fountain, he is controlling the field when the safety car comes in. So it's all down to him to get a good exit, to get a good start from the safety car. So Vitinho, I mean, he has to risk it all, really.
Yep, all or nothing here. Or just could speculate that someone will beat the fastest lap. It depends. The safety car will now come in. So now, White Fountain, he is controlling the race start. He is dictating the pace. And now, we will just wait when the race will start. I just hope for bonkers end to an absolute bonkers season. And now he comes through the final chicane. And I think the race is underway now. Yep, it is. Look at Vitinho, he's a bit close towards White Fountain here, but it is enough to make the move, of course. Just turn back the interval. Oh, look at that. It's also getting close to the back. Cam is taking third. Once we see some banging in the back, that specialist up to P7. And there's the yellow flag in sector 1. That was for someone. I actually have no clue. So, yeah, at the moment, White Fountain is leading FVT and Cam is up to third. Whilst there's a yellow flag, that's Quinniv who has lost it. So he's down to 12. And, yeah, we see Specialist there, closely behind SC Mats in the midfield. This is getting pretty close now, in the midfield.
Yeah, but at the front, we can see both of these drivers using overtake as much as they can, using their fuel as efficiently as they can. And now through the spoon curve at the exit, Vitinho is getting closer and closer to White Fountain. 4 tenths the gap is, 4.5. It was 6 tenths at the start of the lap. Aero Specialist for another 3-second time penalty. And now, Vitinho, you will, I'm not sure if he will have DRS on the next straight, so that could hinder him a little. He has to get a good exit now to pray for a chance for this championship, but it doesn't look like he did. And White Fountain, he retains first position for this lap. And now these two drivers will be absolutely pushing it as it's the final lap of the Grand Prix of the season finale. And I mean, their heartbeats must be skyrocketing right now.
Absolutely, these two on the absolute limit on the final lap. This is for the championship now. Which driver will win the title now? At the moment it looks like White Fountain, but we have to wait this lap. Because now there could be a driver who might take the fastest lap. We don't know who, even White Fountain, Vitinho or someone else. This is going to be mind-blowingly exciting now. We're just waiting for the final corners to commence. At the moment, White Fountain still on top. He is actually having a little safety gap towards Vitinho. I've activated fast lap screen to be safe about the extra points. And we're coming now for the spoon corner. And we're now nearing sector 3. The final and deciding sector for the championship. Who's going to win it? White Fountain or Vitinho? And this is going to be absolutely mind-blowingly exciting. And the second sector goes to, I don't know, either Vitinho, I believe. Now, final couple of corners. This is going to be spectacular stuff. White Fountain is going to win the Grand Prix. But will it be enough for the title? Vitinho can't beat this time. So we'll have to wait for the others. But it doesn't look like they're going to go 3 white at the end. This was exciting. But I can tell you that White Fountain is your One Hub Season 17 World Champion. You're the man.
What a finish to this Grand Prix. I was not expecting it to finish on fastest lap, not at all. I mean, I wouldn't have predicted that.
Oh my god, that was actually close until the end. And It was only decided by the fastest lap. Unbelievable. And they have your champion, White Fountain. He is the successor of Peter Parker from last season. Well done.
Yeah, title switching on from a Racing Point driver to a Mercedes driver, where we nearly saw a Mercedes driver win last season. Scorpion Honda was. And now, I mean, 1-2 to finish off the season for Mercedes. Vitinho will be kicking himself. He shot himself in the foot with those overcuts and potentially not getting a win or two, especially when he was finishing second all the time. And yeah, White Fountain, that fastest lap by 1/10 of a second got him that championship.
And also special shout out to people like Jordan or even Dexter, who were promoted to P5, P6, and even Thomas up to P7, respectively. Good job at these guys. But Minty, who's the driver today?
It has to be White Fountain. He just won the championship. I mean, he was behind Vitinho for quite a long time in the standings, and he won it on fastest lap. And my question to him is, what were you thinking in the final 2 laps when you saw, blistering quick Vitinho at the back of you?
Good question there. My drive today goes to Sir Gwyneth. I mean, he finally scored a point in one hub, and that's still good performance, even through he had some struggles during the race, but he kept it clean, he survived, and he's now a point scorer, apart from the big fights there in the field. So my question was, how does it feel to finally score a point in one hub?
Well, yeah, I mean, it would be a very nice question to ask him, as it is his first point. So, yeah, the whole season has been amazing, and I mean, the best driver won it, White Fountain. Maybe not the most consistent driver, as I mean, at the start of the season we were saying that consistency is key, but then they didn't win. The raw pace of that fastest lap won it, and fair play to White Fountain, and he is the championship winner in podium tier.
Yep, and well deserved, of course. He wasn't lucky at the beginning of the season, but he has found his feet, and now he can finally say he is the champion. Well and truly deserved. And now I've got nothing to say but congratulations to White Fountain.
I mean, White Fountain, he is breaking all sorts of records. Win number 21 for him, and win number 4 this season. 33 podiums in his career, 7 this season. So he's just doing an amazing job. To compare that, Vitinho has 6, and Connaughton has 5. So when he was on the pace, he was truly on the pace. I have to say that.
Absolutely. We just have to say, I mean, he really was in the pace. Right, so if you've got nothing to say then, just ask you there if you've got something else to mention.
No, not really.
Alright, then it's time to end the stream. Thank you so much for watching, guys. The whole season has been amazing here. And thanks to all of you guys who have watched the streams regularly. And also big shout out to all the drivers who have participated in this season, who made this season very spectacular indeed. And, well, I've got nothing else to say. Thank you so much for watching. And go and watch the position tier now. And I hope we will see us next season as well. Season 80 of One Hub. Don't forget to check out the trailer on the 5th of March. But I can only personally say this will be the last time I'll be here in the commentator booth. For now, I will switch to the driver role. So you will hear another voice here next season. And, well, I will just say goodbye and enjoy the rest of the tiers. So, bye.